Hey everybody, Forrest back with you from Life Assist, clinical product specialist and licensed paramedic. And we've got a treat for you today. We got Roger Garcia from ZOLL, our channel partner manager. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Thanks,
Good,
Forrest. It's
great to see you.
Pleasure to be here, everyone. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. So today we are going to take a look at some very pretty AEDs. We got the AED 3 and then the AED Plus. Most people are kind of associate AEDs with the fire department, paramedics, EMTs, but what about law enforcement? You know, why is it so important, you think, these days for law enforcement to have AEDs?
Yeah, great question. Well, Forrest, we're super passionate about helping law enforcement agencies place AEDs in the back of their vehicles. The main reason is they have 4 times the vehicles out in the field than EMS, and it is a very high likelihood that they will arrive on scene first before anyone else. Now, picture a law enforcement vehicle, deputy or officer arrive on scene without an AED,
right,
and it's a cardiac arrest call or a medical call. There's not a whole lot they can do without the AED.
Correct.
So it is incredibly impactful and powerful for these AEDs to be in every vehicle.
Yeah, and as we know, if someone's in cardiac arrest and their heart stops, time is not our friend at all.
It is not our friend. We have, let's say, about 10 minutes, right, to survive.
Yeah.
And for every minute that passes, we're losing about 10% chance of survival. EMS response time, we understand every agency is working really hard.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they can be extended out to 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And
I try to pride myself on about 5 to 7 minutes, but just
Correct.
depending on how busy it was, sometimes it was 7 to 10 minutes, and that's too long.
That is too long, right? And if law enforcement, again, can be there within 2 to 3 minutes, pads on the victim, and ready to shock within 4 minutes, really high probability of survival.
So we got these guys here. What makes the 3 or the Plus, what makes this a good fit for law enforcement?
Yeah, very good question. So what's most important about a cardiac arrest and survival rates is the quality of the compressions, the quality of the CPR. So ZOLL's patented technology is the key here. So both of these devices offer what we call real-time CPR help. When in the event that an officer or deputy, law enforcement is administering CPR on a victim, these units will actually real-time correct their compressions to ensure that they are reaching the 2 inches of adequate depth.
So it's like got just real-time coaching going on.
Real-time coaching, takes the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
Right? We understand these folks are not trained as often on CPR.
Right. Yeah, maybe they're not doing it as much as, say, the firefighter or the paramedic who's on scene. Okay, so this thing's going to give you real-time feedback, real coaching. It's going to let you know whether you're doing good or bad, maybe a little improvement needed here and there.
Exactly. And what's important to note as well is that a lot of the ZOLL advanced life equipment monitors that the paramedics use, fire department use, they have that technology embedded in that high and advanced equipment. We are now providing that same technology in the AED, which the officer and deputy get to use.
So basically what you're saying is with these AEDs, you really don't have to know nothing. All you got to do is just turn on the power and listen to what it tells you.
Exactly.
Wow,
Correct.
Love it.
Push harder. Push harder. Good compressions. Push harder. Push harder. Good compression.
Yes.
So, CPR, why, in conjunction with AED, why is high quality CPR so important?
Yeah, very good question. So in the moment of cardiac arrest, right, as individuals now, we become that pump to that heart. And with high quality compressions, we're looking to reach that 2 inches of depth, which now makes us the pump of that heart. And it allows for the oxygenated blood to circulate throughout the body and to the brain. So that promotes a higher survival rate. And in fact, it's shown, this technology has shown that we can double the survival rate with just that coaching.
So high quality CPR in conjunction with someone that most likely will need a shock during a cardiac arrest, those two combined are going to just make that success rate that much higher.
Yeah.
Or the chance, of walking out of that hospital healthy.
Exactly, right? Better post event. And also, it's what I think is important to note is that not every cardiac arrest victim has a shockable rhythm.
Right.
Studies show about 50% have a shockable rhythm, but yet 100% of those victims do need high quality CPR.
Absolutely. It keeps the organs, tissues,
Correct.
everything viable.
Yes.
That oxygenated blood still circulating until we can get that AED
Yes.
on to give them that shock that they need.
Exactly.
Makes sense. You know what? I just thought of a story actually. So I worked as a paramedic in the Bay Area, and we got a call for a cardiac arrest. It was actually in the middle of a pretty busy street. And we were backed up. It was busy. Our response time was a little delayed, so I was approaching that 7 to 10 minute range.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, oh God, tick tock, right? I remember rolling up, and the police vehicle was there, and on the hood of the car, I could see the case of an AED. By the time we got there, I believe he had at least one shock off, possibly two, and then we took over and did CPR. But it was amazing because I think he got there in under 3 minutes, and they had a shock off in under 4.
Correct.
And it made the difference for that patient because we would have never been able to get our monitor and shock off. So you are so right. Sometimes the police are just in a better location than EMS or fire to get there when time is critical.
That is an amazing story, and that's really textbook of what we see out in the field, and we try to educate everyone out in our country, right, and across law enforcement agencies of just this story because it can be so impactful to so many families.
Excellent. So law enforcement, amazing, makes so much sense. Who else outside of the typical people that you would think should or would have an AED? Who else can benefit from having a device like this? Outside of the EMS services.
Yeah, of course. We rely on our professionals to arrive on scene, right? But it is also very critical for public spaces and anywhere where folks gather, right? Whether it be a school, K through 12, higher education, perhaps the grocery store, county buildings, gyms, anywhere where there's
churches.
Churches.
Yeah, actually, they're mandatory in gyms in California, I think.
They are.
And I see a lot of these there.
Yes. Casinos and gyms is often where we see a lot of cardiac arrest, right? There's a lot of emotions, a lot of activity, physical activity happening. But really, as you know, cardiac arrest can strike at any moment.
Anywhere, yeah.
And whether someone has an underlying condition or not, or a prior history, it can strike any moment. So having the readily available AED anywhere out in the community can be critical to survival.
And I think it's good to note some people might be a little timid of these AEDs, and they seem like they're locked in the encasements and like, oh, do I need to ask somebody to use that, or is there a special code? No. If you have an emergency and there's an AED, you can use it. In fact, the public, they encourage us to not be afraid of these and do it. Well, Roger, thank you. This was enlightening and it makes a lot of sense. And we at Life Assist absolutely appreciate you stopping by, taking your time to do this with us, and come by anytime.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
all
you
right,
all for your time.
see you guys.